Hello everyone, my name is Marion King and I am delighted to be a part of the 2023 Road to Parliament telethon. Born in Southern California, USA in the late 50s, I traveled the country as a baby and a very young child with my parents as they performed in and worked with various sideshows that accompanied Ringling Brothers circuses in the early 1960s. But before my mother, a true daughter of the South with this name, Johnny Mary Alice Selma Ginn, joined the circus and met my father, she was a child of the Delta, born in 1936 and living with her family in Helena, Arkansas. Growing up with the burgeoning blues music scene that was to become the hallmark of this small southern town on the banks of the Mississippi River. My mother had a difficult childhood, being the product of my grandmother's free spirit and my grandfather's lack of understanding about it all. Plagued with hormonal imbalances and an inability to lose weight, feeling outcast from her family because of her mother's free ways, which didn't help her to get her life better, not for this daughter of the Southland. But she still found joy where she could, especially through dance. Then, in 1952, at just 16 years old, she contracted polio, and any dreams she may have had for her future were shattered by this debilitating disease that left her with a long-time disability. I wrote this song for her, and I call it Johnny. Her name was Johnny, and she lived on the Delta's shore. Arkansas farmland as far as you could see. Born on the wrong side of the sheets, at least that's what they said in the 30s on the old muddy. Blues in the cradle, music somehow deep down in her veins. Feeling the downbeat was as natural as the rain. Radio playing melodies on a gentle breeze, sinking slowly through her soul and mind. Johnny was a dancer from the moment she could walk and run, moving to the music on the errand in her heart, getting lost in the rhythms and the stories, swirling beneath the moon by the steady flowing river of time. Growing up for Johnny was just like any other kid. Her daddy said that she wasn't his own. Broken-hearted, this lost child would dance to her in a song, 'neath the moonlight in the gardens of home. Sweet 16 for Johnny weren't the same as for other girls. Springtime rains and flowers sickness and pain. Years in hospital braces were the future for this broken soul. Dreams of dancing lost in the wind. Her name was Johnny, and she lived on the Delta's shore. Arkansas farmland as far as she could see. Daughter of the Southland, sits and dreams of what could have been on the banks of the old muddy. Now, my mother did finally go on to have a rewarding life, where she met my father in 1958, and ultimately I came along in 59. But let's talk about my grandmother for a bit. Wilhelmina was a bit of a card reader, a bit of a magic worker, making tinctures and potions for folks in need, and generally keeping as much of it as quiet as she could, because persecution for her beliefs wasn't a far-fetched notion. Always caring for the wild things, she was often seen feeding birds of many kinds, and she especially loved the corvids who frequented Helena. Now, when she saw that her daughter was going to have a relatively good life, even after her fight with polio, she continued to care for the corvids and would sometimes ask them to carry her love to her daughter, and in time to her daughter's daughter as well, and to keep watch over them as they journeyed on their ways. It's something they still do to this day. Eight to 10 on a Tuesday morning, sipping coffee in the wild, in the green trees high above me, coming in for a landing loud and proud. Ah, it's my murder again. They follow me everywhere, raven's wings ever by my side. Grandmother is ever watchful of her daughter's daughter as she flies through these ever darkening skies. Yet there's a light in the darkness, flying high above the clouds. Ebony wingtips play with the starlight, and a firebrand reflects across the sky as they glide on through the night. Granny's name was Wilhelmina, long chestnut hair and azure eyes. She worked her magic in the moonlight, while rustling wings and raucous cries rose through the night like sparks above a ritual fire. She asked her friends to fly the skyway, to find the heart lights of those she loved, as they journey along their pathway. Silent watchers of the magic in their steps and the shine they leave behind. From grandma to mama, then from my mama down by 1 or 2 or 10, my murder of crows is ever watchful in my sky. And there's a light in the darkness, flying high above the clouds. Ebony wingtips play with the starlight, and a firebrand reflects across the sky as they glide on through the night. It's time to take a little drink. Slante. Springtime is certainly springing here as the wheel turns, and the celebration of the renewal of life after a long, hard winter is now upon us. The Roman goddess Flora, said to have been the goddess of flowering plants, was thought to encourage the growing and blooming of all flowering plants at this time of year. And I can see in my mind's eye her calling to the dormant plants laying under the snow to rise up and reach for the sun. The first flowers often seen up north are the snowdrop, poking their heads up through the snow and heralding the return of longer days. Crocus, iris, hyacinth, and pansies are also some of the early bloomers heralding warmer days. The trees have also started to wear their spring colors, with leaves of green and flower buds waiting to bloom. Did you know that bumblebees hibernate during the winter? And it is the bumblebee queen that comes out in the springtime and ventures forth, visiting those early spring flowers and taking the pollen back to her children in special baskets on her legs to feed them and make them strong so that they can venture out and gather pollen and nectar for the hive. Bees, butterflies, and other pollinators help the flora, that's the flowers and trees and other plants, to be able to reproduce by taking pollen from plant to plant, and they are a vital part of our beautiful ecosystem here on Earth. Here's a little springtime song that celebrates flora, bumblebees, and flowers. Come clap with me. At last the long winter is ending, sun shines longer with each new day. The snowdrops are yawning and stretching, reaching up to the warming rays. Sweet flora awakens the daffodils, primroses and violets too. The blossoms rise up as she calls to them, sparkling in the morning dew. At last the spring is beckoning with its promise of longer days. The birch tree and willow are leafing, with the maple not far away. Buds cover the cherry and lilac trees, the dogwoods and redbuds too. Soon flowers will crown and adorn their limbs, nectar feeding multitudes. La, 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 la. At long last the winter is ending, queen bumblebees take flight, buzzing busily on their fuzzy way through the crocus and meadow bright. With baskets of gold for her children, she rebuilt the winter-worn hive and sends them to visit the myriad of bright blossoms as they rise. The song of the bees fills the warming air as they welcome in the spring. La 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 la. Blankets of flowers are everywhere down here in the south in Florida, and soon they will be everywhere all over the continental United States. I say welcome in the spring and the birth of all of these new beginnings. Remember that we're gathered here for this telethon to help send the Sacred Order of Paladins to the Parliament of World Religions, August 14th through the 18th, 2023, to not only represent pagans and the Corellian tradition and to have more of a presence for the pagan community as a whole, but also to learn more about what other spiritual leaders and religious leaders think on the topics that plague our society and how we can unite as allies for peace and prosperity and for the basic human rights of all. Your donation helps this dream to become a reality, so go to the website below and give as best you can. So here we are, and the wheel has turned to Beltane, and the whole of the northern hemisphere of the earth is alive with the sound of nature, joyfully going about finding each other and bringing in the May. Now, if you don't know what the term bringing in the May means, well, it means going out into the woods and fields on Beltane Eve to gather flowers and greenery for decorations, like this, and also to enjoy the many amorous possibilities of an unchaperoned night in the woods. A wonderful enticement for those looking to help bring in the May. With the birds singing and the frogs croaking and the bees buzzing, the butterflies and dragonflies riding the breeze, coyote calling and wolf howling their love across the night sky. Who knows what wondrous things we may find in those moon-dappled woods, and whom of the nature spirits or deities we may come across. A young woman from my past lives came and shared with me this song that she would sing to her beau about bringing in the May. Shall we go out in the forest under the full moon tonight? Shall we go amongst the trees and see what we find? Shall I go out alone, or will you be coming along as I venture forth to find and bring in the May? La 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 la. What say you that we'll find out here in these moon-dappled woods? And do you think we'll see any sparkling streams? Or to lay with you on the moss and listen to flowing water sing? What a lovely way to find and bring in the May. La 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 la. Do you think that we will see the green man tonight? Do you think the goddess walks this grove? Could it be that they will meet under this moonlight, joining us as we find and bring in the May? Shall we go out in the forest under the full moon tonight? Shall we go amongst the trees and see what we find? Shall we go out alone, and will you be taking my hand as we walk the woods to find and bring in the May? La 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 la. Won't say you won't these flowers make the most beautiful bow? And do you think these vines would make a nice crown? Oh, to dance with you round the fire and into the night. What a delightful way to find and bring in the May. La 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 la. Shall we go out in the forest under the full moon tonight? Shall we go amongst the trees and see what we find? Shall we honor the goddess and the god in our dance, making magic as we find and bring in the May? La 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 la. Do you think that we will see the horned one tonight? Do you think the green woman walks this way? Are they celebrating with us in the grand great ride? Yes, they're finding and they're bringing in the May. Shall we go out in the forest under the full moon tonight? Shall we go amongst the trees and see what we find? Shall we go out alone, or shall you stay here by my side as we venture forth and find and bring in the May? La 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 la. May you have a wondrous adventure as you go forth to bring in the May. Now, I wrote this next song originally as a song in celebration of the land around us in autumn and the wealth that the season brings to us in so many ways. I then thought about changing some of the lyrics around so that I could be welcoming in the springtime and could then express my gratefulness at the abundance of life that spring brings. And so I did. I will be doing a version for the summer soon and then for the winter as well. But for now, here is a song celebrating the sacred land in springtime. Come and join me on this sacred land under clear blue sky. Come and join me in this springtime song under the warm sun so bright. Thankful for the blooms that wait in the cool spring breezes, grateful for butterflies and bees, joyfully sharing in the bounty of Mother Gaia as they flit and buzz from bush to tree. Come and join me on this sacred land under nighttime skies. Come and join me in this springtime song under a full moon so bright, gathering from fields of flowers, rising in the warm spring sun, reaping rewards of proper care, sharing our joy at the bounty from Mother Gaia's spirit, water, fire, earth, and air. Here we are upon this sacred land under the Milky Way, raising voices in this springtime song, sharing the joy of this day. Grateful to gather here amongst our community and thankful for each and every one, joyfully sharing in the love of our Mother Gaia under the warmth of the sun. Under the cool gaze of the moon, together now until we meet again. Together now until we meet again. Alas, our time together here will soon be over. But I want to share with you one last song before we have to part ways. I wrote this in September of 2020 after having a dream that I was flying over the countryside, looking for my friends and chosen family. And when I did find them, we all joined together in that transcendental space to share what we could of each other there, because we weren't able to do it together in person due to the pandemic shutdown. So from me to you, wherever you are, bright blessings, and thank you so very much for sharing space with me here today. I dreamt I was flying over the mountains and the river, hoping to find you. I spotted your heart light beating strong and true like pure love. You shone so bright, and I touched your face and your eyes flew wide and you smiled, and you took my hand and you followed me into the sky. We dreamt we were flying, looking for other heart lights shining bright there in the darkness. So many lights flying, filling the starry skies like little fires to warm the weary. And we raced for the moon and we laughed and we cried out in joy. Then we danced with the sun as he warmed our beautiful blue world. We're all of us flying through space and time across our twirling earth. We're shining our brightest light. Beacons of love, sources of kindness and understanding, compassion and faith. And we're here right now. If you'd open your eyes, then you'd see that we're all one people, we're all one family. Come with us, we're flying. We're making that better world we've been dreaming of. Every day's a new beginning. Speak with compassion, live true to your word, and help every soul that you can to be the change. Fly free, shine your light, this is the way. Walk in kindness, for you know